that when you're playing a long game or a long match in this case, especially in this case, a long intense match, that physical form is super important. We saw Jan talking about, how his physical form improved and how he lost weight and got in shape. And for Magnus, it's always been a big part of his life that he plays a lot of sports and he's in general very fit and doesn't really get tired. He does get tired, of course. Everyone, he's human and everyone gets tired at some point, but he tries to minimize the tiredness as much as possible because that's where the big mistakes really creep in to your play, is when you just don't have the energy to make decisions. He avoids that as much as possible, as all chess players should. I think chess players should also focus on psychology, but this is still a somewhat ignored aspect among professional chess players.
Fascinating stuff. We have f4 on the board. Speaking of a position that at least is maybe not fascinating, but a little more interesting than the previous deadlock, although it could just be an offer for mass simplification, right? Yifan, your thoughts on what we're about to see here with the f4 pawn advance?
Well, I think it's a good decision trying to clarify the position, because we all knew that in a situation, you just need a draw, and if you play too passively, that's not a good signal. So I think Magnus, let's say, controls it very well. Like, he decided to clarify the position when he thought it's a chance. And by the way, here it looks like a pretty fair opportunity just to exchange the kingside pawns, right? Because black cannot play fg4. Since hg4, everything will be changed.
Right, so you're not expecting fg4, you're expecting maybe
king to f6,
or
possibly.
just king f6, yeah?
If black wants to keep the tension,
Yeah,
give some support to the pawns, that's a good way to do it.
Okay. And white maybe follows suit, building tension, something like king g3.
Or king g3. I'm just worried about the rook to e3 at some point coming.
Yeah.
King to f3 is a way, but black also doesn't attack the pawn, so it's not a necessary move. Right, black doesn't threaten f takes g4 because after h takes g4, the rook opens up and attacks h6. But there's no immediate way to clarify from what I see. So we might, see some slightly passive waiting moves from both sides, some passing moves. But king to f3 certainly comes to mind because maybe it frees up white's knight to go to g3 and to try to clarify things.
I like this idea, even though it's just a check. I see a check. Pots or C check.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but
you can say it. Hey, we're at that stage now.
We're comfortable enough.
We're comfortable enough now.
Okay.
You can. Yifan, you can make fun of me too. It's okay.
Sorry. I was just curious about the move h4 here, and
Okay.
after g takes f4, then maybe g5.
I like it. Shake,
But
shake.
maybe not necessary. Check, yeah. And knight f4, but I didn't see after bishop f7. So maybe then just...
Even here, it's very drawish, but white is saying, I'm maybe rook to h1. White is saying, yeah, I'm trying to make a draw now, which is a bit sad from his point of view.
Yeah, not enough tactically to justify the pawn sack. Hard to see many ways to continue to justify tension, but we do have another great question from Chess TV chat from Lateralist Zach. Yifan, we've been talking throughout the match about players that we feel either influence Magnus or at times when his style reminds us of great games by Capablanca, great games by Karpov, where he just continues to play positions where it doesn't seem like there's much, yet before you know it, he's outplayed you and got an advantage, and he's famous or infamous for doing this, right? Just absolutely ruthless, looking for every small advantage. And because we've talked about Magnus's appreciation for the world champions before him, a great question from Chess TV chat is, what players influence you? Lateralist Zach wants to know players you admired growing up, maybe some of your heroes, or maybe some great champions of the past that you studied and feel like influenced your style.
Well, so my favorite player is Bobby Fischer. So, how to say? I pick him because not only because of his